start live. Yep, okay, guess that works. Then I'll open up a room. Okay, room's open. I guess I hit a button accidentally. My bad. I'll change something real quick. Just gonna close my browser. Right, there's a timer. Yeah. Second round, I guess, was better. First round seemed wonky, like, so I don't know. Closed my browser to see if that helps any. Okay.
I'm not getting a move to come out that I should have no problem with.
What?
I'm not getting a move to come out that I should have no problem with. It's the Dragon Punch, the
I see.
basic quarter circle thing.
Yeah. You want to try it round start? Sometimes, you know,
Sure.
one just gets kinda one's hand stuck doing something that's, well, not correct. Especially if you tense up.
That's the backwards one. I'm not. I can do the backward one, no problem.
Oh, is that the backwards
Swap sides?
TP?
Swap sides? Right, so that's the same motion that I was doing on the other side.
What are you saying? something working wonky?
I mean, that's the same thing.
What?
Like on the other side, that's what I was trying to do.
I see. Quarter circle forward?
I mean, I don't think that's it, because it usually follows up with, even if it doesn't hit, it usually follows up with a thing.
What are you trying to do? The fireball or that thing where it jumps into the sky?
They're like forward series of punches.
Could you repeat that?
The thing where she goes forward doing a series of punches.
Oh, I see. And what's the input for that?
Just a quarter circle forward.
I see. Okay. And
It's the same as this, but the other direction.
Yeah, okay, but and you're not getting it out? Isn't that where she starts with the fist, the thing? This thing,
I think
yeah. Isn't that the move?
I mean, I thought it followed up with a kick even if it missed. Plus, I wasn't able to use any meter last turn, because it never did it. Like, it uses meter even if it doesn't hit, doesn't it?
Well...
See, that's not it.
Yeah. Yeah, but that is the first move. Like, you need to follow up by pressing something else, I guess. Like,
I've never had to before.
You've never had to before? That's weird, because I know that you can just do one.
Oh, like I'm using the one that's supposed to use a meter right now.
Well, you press 2 buttons. You do that thing, but 2 buttons. Right? Yeah, that thing, right? That is what you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Okay, you need to use 2 buttons to activate that.
That's... I was sure it was set to R1, it's set to L1.
Oh, I see, you're using button macros. Okay, well, I don't... Do you want to quit out and check your controls then?
Yeah.
Then kill me real quick.
Okay, I'm sure I never had to do that.
Yeah, I mean, like, sorry, I don't know what pad players need to do or what you might have done with your arcade stick with the macro buttons, because, I mean, personally, I just don't use them, right? Like, not for any particular reason, just I prefer pressing stuff on my own. So yeah, if you have a specific button for, like, the A-B macro, then sure.
I didn't know it was like a macro. It's right there in the controller settings. It's A and B. You know?
Yeah, I mean that is a macro.
Yeah, I just.
Yeah. Yeah, in-game selectable macro. Yeah. Like in fighting games, usually any combination of like buttons, as long as it's just buttons and they happen at the same time and they're not a sequence, is okay to do. Like, that's just a general consensus thing. So a lot of official games have some pre-made macros, though. Yeah. Yeah. So everything alright?
Yeah.
Was some stuff like not set properly?
Oh, I'm apparently just insane. I don't know.
Just using it wrong? Okay.
Yeah, I guess. Don't know. I mean, I don't see how anyone could have changed since last time, but...
Yeah. Okay, weird.
I mean, we've played it a few times and I've never had this weird brain fart before.
Yeah, okay. It happens. So we're fighting?
Yep.
Okay. couldn't find the fucking move. It took so long to find it, I forgot what it is. Tried too many combinations. I took so long to find the move that I forgot what it is, actually. Yeah. Like, my problem with SNK motions is that if I don't look at them before, I don't know which direction to roll. Because there's 4 different things that they could be. Also, the connection's bad. But whatever. Just, yeah, makes me think about too many things, was what I was trying to say. I want a different stage. Just don't like the song on that one too much. Okay, let's see. Some water too.
I think ideally if you click random here, like it should be random every...
Yeah. There are very, very few games that do this. But like, I feel like that's the best way to do it. Skullgirls does it that way.
I can understand, like 3D games that maybe preloads the stage would not want to do it that way, but...
Yeah.
There might be more load time, but...
Yeah, but they do load it here, right? So...
Yeah.
Should be okay. Yeah, let's go. Wonder who I'd play in, like, the sequel. Ryo Rai Rai. Maybe like the girl with the eye patch and the sword? I'm not sure.
There's just one extra person you said, yeah?
There's one extra person, yeah. She looks really cool too.
Yeah.
I might play her if whomever we play this with, or whatever ends up being the case, doesn't play her. Because it's like, you know, there's one new character. A lot of people are usually interested in playing the new character, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, and while there's no rule that we can't mirror match all the time, it's just my preference not to.
Yeah. Yeah, good.
Shit. Whoopsie. Oh, lucky me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I do to not get chipped out, like, you know, when you don't have enough life left that someone's just gonna kill you with block damage, is at that point you need to stay in somehow. Like, even if it's just to be in range to block, because if I'm not threatened, then I'll just shoot, right? That's
Yeah.
yeah. Gotta look out for that. if Chohi, like my character, does manage to do that anti-air grab where she jumps into the air, she's briefly air invulnerable. Against like aerial attack, she could just sort of jump through it. I don't usually use it as an anti-air because, well, crouching down and doing stuff with my stick is easier. This thing, right? So, yeah, that's all I want to say.
Okay.
Close.
Close.
For a second there, I thought it wouldn't hit. Mm-hmm. If you need any tips, you say something, right?
Both got a counter.
What did you mean?
What?
Nothing, I guess. I just realized I don't think I understood what you said before.
It was just we both got a counter message at the same time.
Oh yeah, that'll happen. Okay. I think you cancelled the chains out with a fireball.
Yeah.
That might be an option. Yeah.
The super fireball thing. There's a meter one.
Yeah, I see. I wonder if a regular one works too, since it's just a projectile. If so, that might be a way to keep yourself from getting chipped out if you can do it well timed.
Yeah, impossible. I would assume it's only meter because I have, like, I've been hit by doing like that and getting chained.
Yeah.
Which you think would be the same kind of thing. Using a special against a special.
Yeah, I see.
I don't know. I'll try it to see from I didn't have time there to try it.
Yeah, I see.
I probably did, but I did.
Okay. Oops. Nice. Nice. Gotta win. I'll switch to Ryofo after this one.
We'll go back to what's her name.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Oh. Wait. One day it'll let me say stage select.
You did once last week.
Yeah, once. Mm-hmm. You want to check something real quick, you said?
No, I said those went quick. Those
Oh,
last two
yeah.
matches.
Yeah, I mean, like, she does a lot of damage, right?
Yeah.
Just make a few good calls, got the round.
Yep.
Lucky me. I was like, well, that was a bad call, I got hit, but yeah, I guess she was already going.
Yeah.
By the way, I guess semi-officially, my current student is done. So, if you wanted fighting game lessons for whatever reason, I'd have time for that now, I guess. So I guess with your times it would only be like Sundays. Or rather, I guess other days might work too. Just you do only leave at like is it 5 PM your time?
Hours are apparently going to change soon, maybe.
I see. Well then, yeah, maybe then. I mean, if you're interested. You're doing fine this way too.
Yeah.
So, that's alright.
I think that's for learning by playing then.
Yeah.
And like repeating actions that do get them going.
Yeah. Well, it's mostly like explaining stuff and doing training mode together. Like, just
yeah, we did our stuff.
What did you say?
Yeah, we did with Street Fighter and
Yeah, where I briefly showed stuff off. Yeah, exactly. Just like more in detail, I guess, for other things. Like different strategies, approaches, stuff like that. But yeah. But yeah, just mentioning it on the side, so because I forgot to.
Yeah, we both got counter our first attack.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Willie talked about playing that Grand Blue on the last podcast. He got into like a beta thing or something.
Yeah. Who talked about it?
Willie.
Wooly. Yeah. Okay.
Willie, yeah.
And did he like it?
Yeah, he was full of praise for it.
Yeah.
He was surprised that it was about footsies and stuff. He was expecting something different, I guess.
I see. Yeah. Yeah, I saw a couple fighting gamers play that. And it seems fun.
We also had a question about hitbox pads, sticks, and like whether they should be banned or not. Because I looked at one and it does seem like you could do moves a lot easier.
Yeah, it depends on what you want to do, but like hitboxes are a thing. I mean, I guess he talked about how that discussion came about with like Daigo and the Gaffro box.
Yeah, I didn't understand what the second thing was they were talking about. They talked about hitbox and then that Difo box. Is that just a different kind, or?
It's just like well, a hitbox in general is just like this box with buttons, right? It's basically like
I don't look at that.
Yeah, glorified keyboard, I guess, in a way. Not 100% true, but almost true. And the Gaffro box is just a specific box made by a player called Gaffro, who has used this for like 2 years, and it has more buttons. And you can set the buttons to be different things. Now, setting the buttons to be different things isn't really the issue. One of the things that people don't like, which may or may not be an issue, is that you can set multiple directional buttons. So Daigo in his setup used 3 times up, so that his hand could press up in other situations more quickly. I guess that's not, yeah. I mean, I guess that's not really what people were upset with. That was unnecessary. Whoops. Health difference. I should have looked at that. The thing that the Gaffro box does that the hitbox doesn't, but used to do, is that if you hold back, it's just a button, right? You can keep it pressed. And you then
press forward to do like a charge for like a sonic boom kind of thing.
Exactly, and in the Gaffro box, if you press like forward while still holding back, forward replaces the back. So you can just do sonic boom, let go of the forward button, and you're like again charging at like yeah, frame perfect basically.
Right. Yeah.
Like the only delay in there is the length you take to tap that button. So a friend of mine who only plays charge characters and plays on keyboard totally does this. Like this is how he plays. Makes sense, right? I mean, if that's how you've played all your life. Yeah, on the hitbox it's different. On the hitbox, if you hold back and you then press forward, you get neutral, i.e. nothing, no direction.
Alright. Okay.
But here's the thing, both the Gaffro box and the official hitbox will still give you like up if you were holding down and holding the button and then hitting up. So it doesn't actually do the same thing with left and right. And Daigo was mainly using it for that purpose. Like, yes, instant sonic booms, but what he really wanted was instant flash kicks, which is charge down and then up and kick, right?
Right.
And you can totally do that with both boxes, and that's kind of like an issue. Yeah. So here's the problem with that whole thing, because if it were just that, then you could either ban it, or you could say, okay, hitbox users, you're gonna have to update so down and up doesn't do that anymore either. The issue is that every PlayStation pad, including PlayStation 4 pads, allows you to do exactly this sort of thing, with both sonic booms and flash kicks. And people have been using that for years. So yeah, if you're playing charge characters, then using like a pad to get this sort of frame perfect thing out is totally something you might want to consider doing. Well, we both countered each other, I say. That's funny. Because the way you do it on pad is you have two input devices for like directions, right? You have your digipad and you have the control stick. So what people do is they kind of use like a claw grip, where you hold the pad in a certain way to make it easier to hold back with the D-pad, and then tap forward with your right thumb on the you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That stick thing. Yeah. So that's what people with pad use. So when people talk about like, let's just ban this thing, usually they're confused about whether the Gaffro box is like a hitbox or not. But even if you're not confused about it, you can still do the flash kick technique. And if you want to ban that, then the reason that you want to ban that works against pads too. Against PlayStation pads, which is the most common pad used by fighting gamers using pads. Like by a large margin. So it's kind of an issue. That being said, Guile is not balanced around having an instant flash kick available. So it is an issue. Also, even if this whole thing that I just described is just with charge characters, right?
Yeah.
So hitboxes and keyboards, but not pads, allow for some other techniques that kind of trick fighting game input readers. And by trick, I just mean it's a good technique to use, no? Because input readers are usually made around the idea, what sorts of input mistakes does one do with like a stick or a D-pad, no? If you're doing like circles or DP motions and stuff like that. And thing is, you're not going to have those same issues if you have directional button presses. So there are some easy button presses that require you to just smash down one or two fingers that can get you instant dragon punches and stuff like that. So that's actually also an issue in a sense. It is like a big question, but like how do you address that? I'm not sure. Like I mean, there's of course like the people that are just like, just ban everything but the thing I'm using, which is stupid. And the whole crowd that are like, which is equally stupid, which are like, well, those arcade sticks and using just the D-pad are like archaic input devices. Welcome to the 21st century, but those people don't really understand how fighting games are balanced and what sort of consequences that ultimately would have on the game design. Because what they're basically saying is that charge characters should be eliminated. And that's not good, because there's like a lot of movesets that just don't work outside of a charge character, and that would just be sad. And never mind the problem of what about new people coming in to learn old fighting games, which happens all the time. Whoopsie. So yeah. So their input device is just going to give them unfair advantages if one would continue in that direction, or one would just say, well, I guess this game's not gonna have new players. Oftentimes people that suggest this sort of thing don't really stick around for games either, so I doubt that they're like a good judge of this sort of stuff. Because sure, there's fighting games where people stick around for like 3 to 4 years. I feel like that's if someone likes a game, that's fairly normal. but there's also fighting games that people have been playing for 10, 20, 25 years, no? And those games still get new people. Like Vampire Savior is probably the best example of that, where most of the people playing it now are not the people that started playing Vampire Savior back when it came out in 1997, I think. So yeah, that's just a problem. That is not how you grab. Okay. I grabbed like in Vampire, because I was talking about Vampire. Yeah, that's totally a thing. Oh, trying to chip me, good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, Daigo basically trained on the Gaffro box, right? And purposefully did that, no? And even before like the ban, or even before like the tournament that he went to that sparked that entire thing, he was like, you know, I don't mind if hitboxes get banned, then at least people will start thinking about like rules about this sort of thing, which is something he's concerned about, no? Like,
yeah, they're spelled out.
Yeah, he's even said that, like, even though he's, like, of the mind that one should use whatever is available, that, like, if he had, like, absolute power and he thought it was practical or something like that, he'd totally be like, everyone just play on arcade sticks. So people have been sort of misrepresenting his opinion in that, because he actually it wouldn't have gotten banned if Daigo hadn't actually contacted both like the tournament staff and Capcom and asked them specifically if this would be allowed. And at first they were like, yeah, sure, whatever, it's an input device, yeah. And then people were like, we just watched the stream, he does this crazy stuff with it, that's bad. Oh, ask the tournament staff, Capcom says. And then the tournament staff is like, well, we're banning it this one time. But the reasons given would have meant that all PlayStation pads would have had to have been banned too. Nobody cared about that. Yeah. Yeah. It's just something that's been known, but nobody really cared as much about until a pro started using it. That was really good.
Yeah.
It's yeah, usual issue, I guess. Damn it.
Still lice on it.
Yeah. I mean, I do hope that some sort of rule set is constructed, but it's definitely going to, no matter what conclusion is reached, is gonna be very controversial. Because, yeah. Like, the easy rule to enforce is you only get one set of directions, and with pad players, you could have that as like a soft rule and tell them to just, you know, not use the claw grip, because there aren't that many people doing that. It would suck for like the one person that people would really look at when they're doing this, Liquid Knuckle who is known for playing Guile on pad, who does this. So he'd be under scrutiny, whereas other people, they would, because checking that's impractical at a tournament, right? Like, how did the guy did that one move that one time? I don't know, it was dark and there were people shouting. Just, yeah.
Yeah, you can't really lean over people when they're...
Yeah. That works. I guess that works too. You stuck your leg out and somehow I grabbed that, I guess. Or your hand? I don't know, I saw you doing an attack and that made you move into range for the grab. Yeah. Yeah, personally, I think like a soft ban of directions or like a hard ban, but like without checking it, should be good enough for the multi-directions thing that takes care of one thing. That's an easy thing to do. But like there is no possible way to ban the multi-directional usage on hitbox and keyboards. Oh, okay. That jab reached.
My arms are as long as a spear.
Yeah. Ow. Itayo. No.
Thanks a bit more. I wasn't really noticing to like it the first place, but...
Okay. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Minimum range. Let's see.
Boom.
Yep. At least before this whole stick issue, gaffer box issue came up, I actually didn't mind it. That some input devices have like different kinds of advantages. Because I mean, it's always been a thing if you're playing like, for example, older Mortal Kombat games, where you have to tap a lot of directions. That's easier to do on pad and keyboard, so that's alright, but it's just like easier for that. It's like specializing. I also feel like if you have to do like a lot of directions, like a lot of quarter circles, half circles, or 360s, then arcade sticks are perfect. And other input devices are not as good at that. Like, you can learn to use any device to do that, but I feel like they're better for that, so seems alright. Now that the issue came up, the only thing that I have to watch out for is that I have to tell people that are starting fighting games that they should maybe wait on the hitbox.
Yeah.
Which feels kind of stupid, but yeah. It's also sad that like the developer is gonna be negatively impacted by advice like that, and don't really want to contribute to that, but hitboxes cost money, so unfortunately that's just the best advice to give to someone starting.
Yeah.
I hope they do pressure like Capcom or at least the FGC into making a rule set, even if that's going to have consequences, just so people will be, just so people can be secure in purchasing their input devices.
Yeah.
I feel like that's important.
Yeah, rules have to show up something like that, and then get told that you're using the wrong thing.
Yeah, because even if you're not going to tournaments, right, you might not want to use a device that's tournament illegal because it's tournament illegal for a reason, so you might not want to use something that's unfair or perceived as unfair.
Yeah.
I mean, there's of course people that don't care about that sort of thing, but I mean, those people use lag switches and have no qualms about it either, so whatever.
Yeah, the question on the podcast was in the context of someone getting into fighting games, and then this came out and he was like, I feel really nervous about going to my fighting game community now that I've gotten used to this thing, and I don't know if they're going to like it.
Yeah.
Or if they're going to tell me to fuck off, kind of thing.
What was that last part?
Or like if the fighting game, the local community are going to tell them to fuck off, kind of like
Yeah,
take it back
exactly.
And fuck off, like you didn't know what the...
Yeah, so basically Wooly's problems, same as mine, yeah.
Yeah, Wooly seemed to... Wooly's answer was like, just show up to the community. Like, if they tell you not to use it, then don't use it, but if there are things with it, then not gonna. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, I mean that works. The community just needs to actually make a decision.
Yeah.
Whoopsie. Ah ha ha ha. I mean, before I'd actually gleefully tell people like, oh, what game are you playing? That one? Well, this allows you to this. Just do that. And now it's a big deal. Well, okay. Yeah. I'm especially like wondering, like, I'm sure that like Ezreal Kalman, I mean, you've seen him before. Because he's the guy who plays church characters and plays on keyboard, so like... It took me a while to convince him to actually get a keyboard a gaming keyboard, so that he could press like more than 2 buttons at the same time without the keyboard going beep. And now he can press like, I don't know, 5 or 6 at the same time, so he should be able to do any complicated charge character stuff that he needs to. And yeah, I wonder if that's gonna be a thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's do 2 more. Okay. Okay, last one. Yep. Good fake grab before that. Since she jumps into the air with that little kick thing that she does, that's actually like a good option. Since even if I press grab and you don't, like, you won't get grabbed. But she can only grab, well, people can only grab grounded opponents. Other than Chohi with her weird jump hit grab. GG's.
Yeah.
Okay. Now shut off the stream.